Thunder Awaken kind of have a penchant, I guess, for finding young talent in the mid lane, so I guess we'll have to see what Burning God can do here.
Yeah, and as we were speaking about with Law and Trony a lot, this is kind of the stage. Make your name known a little bit, get yourself out there. Why not? This is pretty much the best possible opportunity you're gonna get with an org as kind of prestigious as Thunder Awaken has been in the past few years. Why not? And certainly the players like him. They wouldn't ask him to play on their team right now if they didn't like him. So this could be an opportunity for him to move up the rung. But they have to win before we get too far ahead of ourselves. And they do have a semi-difficult matchup ahead of them. I think statistically, Thunder Awaken usually has an advantage versus Executory Alliance.LATAM. But with the addition of Kataro, who knows? Maybe that's the difference maker. Maybe we'll see that shift up. Maybe that will be what kind of turns the tide. But I'm just waiting, and Monkey King gets banned out. Don't get to see it. They know. Knight gets a lot of respect bans, actually, in that second phase, because he kind of deserves it at this point. And they lead with Ember.
Yeah.
Okay? Keeping the theme, great matchup versus the Pango, as we've already seen the tournament time and time again, but also super solid versus Broodmother. Super good at clearing out those spiders, really annoying, really easy to get on top of the Broodmother herself, and you just sit in the slight. You slight 25 spiders, it just keeps going. You are really safe, really difficult to ever get any lockdown on top of him. It's where I almost wish Alliance had time for a Ricky in their draft, but
Oh.
Skywrath Mage, a lot safer, a lot easier to land.
No, as of right now, immediate setup for that sort of Skywrath combo, but that could be coming in the near future. Okay, kind of. Good enough as they go for the clock here, but as you said, ET, even if you can't make your Mystic Flare plays happen, you've got some extra lockdown to try and deal with the Ember over the course of what might end up being kind of a long duration fight.
Yeah, and it's a hard choice. With Rubik banned out, it gets a little bit more awkward. Rubik would have been the best
Mm.
option for Alliance.LATAM, but it's an answer for Ember. It's going to be annoying.
Oh.
And Thunder Awaken pick up the coddle. Okay, sure. That looks like it's going to be Michael's hero, but very annoying, and a hero that Thunder Awaken has been pulling out here or there, just kind of pairing it up with heroes like the Ember, like the Pango, just super obnoxious once that mid game breaks out.
Mm-hmm. In the lane itself, if he's with the Mars, you can maybe have some more spam. Obviously, we're going to see the Sleight of Fists coming out a lot faster and a lot more frequently once the laning stage sort of comes to an end. So it's a lot of damage that Alliance.LATAM will potentially have to deal with. But for now, really the focus of both teams is going to be on that position 1 role. Alliance.LATAM start with the ban on the Slark. Thunder Awaken do remove the Templar Assassin. So at this point, we have kind of thrown subtlety and flexibility out the window here. Both sides know exactly what the other's looking for.
Yeah, and for the first time in a while, we're getting both carries as each team's final pick. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
it means that maybe there's a little bit less flexibility from Thunder Awaken. They don't really get to 24 pick you, but you ask yourself with all of the carry bans already, is there a draft advantage here? Is there going to be an easy win that you can look to pick up just by having a stronger carry than your opponents? Because all of these kind of S tier carries are just taken away. So I really am kind of sitting here wondering, what's Katara gonna want to play? What he going to want to do into Knight's hero pool? Because I think they pretty much got everything. It's just a matter of if there is that hole, if there is that problem that they can kind of abuse. Even though, man, everything's just gone. It's where you look at heroes like Anti-Mage Inspector almost. I don't want to, say that, but that's kind of where we're at. Maybe Ursa's the easiest one to call out, but even that feels like you can't pick it too early. And okay,
Uh,
Lifestealer, a hero that is very weak to those illusion-based heroes, but that's why they banned out 3. And then they just go for the counter. Classic. I mean, horrible matchup for Katara. They're just going to have to deal with now, but I mean, this is Knight's bread and butter. Not only one of his best heroes, one of the heroes he was playing constantly during his debut, but it is just that bad of a matchup. As soon as Knight gets BKB Basher, Kataro is dead. He is just a dog to get slain on the ground. It's where they have to do such a good job kiting this troll. Otherwise, every team fight is just going to be the sad, sorry state for Kataro.
mm-hmm. I think Alliance.LATAM maybe go with the Lifestealer pick knowing it presents a potential weakness, but also maybe hoping that they can bank on Analog and Vitali maybe carrying more of that weight, right? The Broodmother in particular is going to be a lot more active in the fights in terms of being capable of doing damage compared to someone like the Illich Mars on the other side. So if Kataro can maybe make just surviving his primary role here and leave the rest to his teammates, then Alliance might be in a better spot. But that is asking a lot from year 2 and year 3.
Yeah, and depending on Vitali's items timings, he can mess up Thunder Awaken pretty heavily. It's where any Mars Arena play that comes out, if there's a mech to follow it, any burst damage from Michael or Excel, a pipe to return it, you can really mess with Thunder Awaken's team fights, but it is always outlasting, figuring out ways to delay your opponents. And in this Lifesteal versus Troll matchup, if Kataro's numbers are big enough, if he can survive Troll ulti, if he can wait that out, disengage, force the Troll to switch targets, that's where that matchup is almost fightable. But you need some big numbers. You need to be ahead of the Troll. You can't fall behind. It's where Troll, if he goes for Battle Fury, will always kind of be ahead, but you need to abuse as much as you can in this matchup.
Mm-hmm. Well, we shall see how this goes here. Game 1 getting underway. Do want to give you a reminder, folks, of where these two teams stand in terms of their positioning. For Thunder Awaken, their ticket is punched. They're going to the playoffs. The only thing to determine now would be their seeding. On that front, though, the way that the playoff bracket sort of works out with those 3 invited teams, the first and second seeds in Phase 2 will just play each other. So there's not a lot of difference between being the 1 and being the 2. You just need to be in the top 2 in general. So Thunder Awaken still have some stakes to play for because they could end up outside of that top 2, but that's really the only thing on the line for them, ET. Meanwhile, for Alliance, quite a bit more. They're still looking to make the push for the playoffs themselves. They're only 1 game behind, behind Dreamers, who are sitting in 5th place. So there's not a lot of ground that they need to make up, but they need to make up the ground.
Yeah, and they have, I believe, the most games, or second to most games that still need to be played. So there's definitely movement that Alliance can cause here. I think if they are looking for that qualification, though, they might not want to be the 5th seed just because they play against Shopify, but, you know, we'll see. It could be a rough road. It is funny that Shopify get the worst of the Phase 2 seeds if the bracket is what it is, but that could be even more motivation to try and be either seed 3 or seed 4, even though, of course, seed 1 and 2 going against each other is an advantage. It almost guarantees you a slightly easier path and history against the team that you already played against. You get a little bit more practice versus your opponent coming into that best of 3.
Yeah, a more familiar opponent, and in most cases probably one that's on a slightly lower caliber than the teams that got directly invited to Phase 3. But we'll see if that motivation will be enough here for Alliance to try and make their push as the laning stage gets underway. This is going to be an interesting lane down bot. The Skywrath is going to do everything in his power to be the annoying Skywrath, but we're going to wait to see what Vitali looks to do here once he has levels, because if he does want to get aggressive, we have seen some Broods in the past maybe put up an extra point in the Insatiable Hunger and try to push forward. They can not just kill Excel, but also maybe bully Smiling Knight off the lane a little bit.
It is tough. Vitali's also been wicked good with the range creep denies. He's been really obnoxious. And without having the Crystal Nova, it is up to Knight to make sure he hits these Whirling Axes. But it's tough. Vitali's doing a pretty great job. There's not enough damage, though, as we usually see. They've got stick charges on really both sides already going up. There's just so much spam that the cores, at least, are going to be safe in a lot of these engagements early on.
Just trading out for the moment, but as you said, Smiling Knight, he needs to hit the axes. He's been on point with all of them so far, so can't really ask for too much more from him. Excel may need to maybe get this creep aggro pulled back a little bit, because they are starting to push further forward than I think they're comfortable with, but plenty of time for that, so long as the camp wasn't blocked, and it was not, so should be just fine on that front. And well, between the two supports, honestly, Excel's doing just as much damage as he's taking here. It's Elmisha who's kind of backing away, so They are holding for the time being.
Yeah. Resources coming. He's gonna tap on the CM now, but could be worse. And has that small camp open, something that El Micho unfortunately does not have for himself, something that he'll have to deal with either this courier or the next. Even though
Mm,
getting pretty low, and there's the bolas. They hit level 2 and Excel. Don't know if he's able to walk this one out, and he's not. Gives first blood over to El Micho, and El Micho maybe probably kills himself, or with the clarity running, sticks around, but probably buys an old talisman, something like that.
got a little money to work with now with that bonus. In the meantime, what is going on here? Michael and Gardic playing a weird game of tag in the river here, far off from the lane itself. Don't really think too much is going to come from that, but it does allow for solo experience in that top lane for their respective cores. Really not too much loss. This is, I don't know, it's an interesting setup. Michael can certainly just pour more and more mana into Illich, give him more opportunities to farm, to get harass damage, but against Lifestealer as well as the Clockwork, I don't really think they've got too much in the way of kill potential in terms of Thunder Awaken pushing in.
Yeah. It would be after Kataro already commits the rage, but even then, he's got the Helm of Iron Will already. He's going to be healing up. There's really just not enough magic burst in this lane, and it's telegraphed. Kataro should be able to react to anything that Illich tries to make happen here. Even if the Ember comes over, it's a pretty easy way for them to make the return. As speaking of Ember, Amisha comes mid, concussive shot, goes through, and he is back to the base. He has to give the lane over to Michael.
Took a lot of damage there for just a few moments, but pushes him out. Water Rune control goes Alliance.LATAM's way, and, well, he doesn't die. I guess we can give him that, but it's a lot of time spent out of lane. Actually, even TP's back before he was fully topped off. Fountain regen, though, does linger, so he's just fine, but, well, he was itching to get himself back into the action. Of course, the second he gets back, he loses half of his HP to Analog anyway.
Yeah. Analog really making this look like a kind of Pango favored matchup, which is not what you want to say, but he's just doing a great job. Always praise him for being that mechanically skilled mid laner. Just always knows the matchup, always know where he can push the advantage. He's been really annoying as well. Also done a really good job. He's going for a slightly different skill build, I think, in reaction to the 2 points up in the Flame Guard. So he knows that another point up in Shield Crash wouldn't break the shield. So he's got an early point Lucky Shot, which we're not really used to seeing.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. As you said, that shield, the 2 points up in it is a little tougher to get through, and the build he's going for right now is working to a certain extent. As back up top, Gardic. Don't think that was a trap attempt. He was just trying to maybe push Illich back and prevent this pull from happening, but it doesn't quite work out the way he wants. Illich is able to maintain the aggro and gets that pull just about back onto his own side, and now Kataro has to very uncomfortably push forward. Kataro, though, do want to point out, while he is holding a point ET, has not actually skilled the Rage just yet, and the longer he can get away with not having to skill that, obviously the better his lane goes.
Yeah, no, he's chilling. He knows there's no silences. He might have to worry about Ember Chains. He is getting pretty greedy here, but as long as he has points up in the Goal Frenzy, he's just a better hero. He's just annoying. Illich is starting to struggle with the easy harass, even though Illich has his phase boots, but it's not fun. As what is going on mid?
Yeah.
Supports abound. Analog doesn't find a Rolling Thunder he wants to commit to, but really just aggressive play coming in from Alliance.LATAM, making sure they box out of these runes. And the rune had to get taken from Michael, so he ends up killing the Invis rune for both sides, but just kind of crazy battles. And pulling the sideliners out doesn't matter so much for top, because Illich gets solo XP, he's happy, but getting Troll in the 1v1 versus Vitaly, I feel like almost has to favor Knight. It really just sets up the Troll for a very nice start, and he is going for that Battle Fury, so giving him as clean an early game as possible is really going to start to help him out.
Yeah, if they can pull the supports and then not die, I think was the important thing, right? Both Burning God... Hold on a second. Burning God and the Coddle who TP'd in got pretty low on health, but were able to eventually walk away. So it's not great for Burning God himself. You see his net worth kind of the lowest among the cores, but steps can be taken later to try and catch him up. For now, though, Smiling Knight needs that Battle Fury on a timer.
No, he definitely does. It's where that distance gets created, and his opposing carry is right there with him. He is doing just as great a job farming. He's trying to double up on the farm on Kataro. He's just becoming a very annoying lifestealer. And we'll have to see if he ever ends up rotating over towards mid as another battle. Invis Rune, Arcane, and Analog. Yeah, with the Arcane, he wants to fight.
Well, he got rooted, so he couldn't immediately go for the Rolling Thunder. Now he'll try it, but now there's more than enough time for Burning God to get away. Gardic, he's still kind of chasing here just in case, but what angle can they get, and can they do this before El Misho gets punished? He's just kind of a little bit too far forward there, did not realize the other supports were coming until it was too late, but Analog is back into the fight. Takes down Excel, Burning God is now trapped in the cogs, and the Swashbuckle is there to finish the job. Not the cleanest execution, ET, but it's a double kill for your mid laner. And, ooh, and steal the stack, maybe?
Oh, he's gonna force Michael to take it, yeah. And yeah, gets away with most. And Illich, he's trying to get revenge. He's trying to get on top of anybody, and looks like he might be able to connect onto Gardic, but is gonna be a shot in the dark, and yeah, knows it's too difficult. Nice ward in the night as well, placed from Gardic, seeing the Mars running at him, but no revenge play comes out, and Alliance get off to a nice 2k gold lead here at 9 minutes.
Well, we were already talking about the Ember being kind of behind, maybe needing to be given some space to catch back up once the other cores are off and running, but now, through, realistically speaking, no fault of his own, Analog has just put a sizable blocker between them with those 2 kills, so it does get kind of concerning here. Excel able to come over, throws out a root, just kind of keep the Pango at arm's length, but yeah, they got to do something. Unfortunately, that was not the spot to do it in. Just smoked directly on top of an Alliance.LATAM ward, so this should be something that they kind of see coming. The scan, though, is going to reveal Vitali is over here, but Vitali can also just walk away through his webs. He's going to do exactly that, and I don't really think they're going to get anything out of this play unless Vitali gets greedy. He is moving a little bit further in, but now he's falling back to the tower. Still rooted up under the tier 1, though. There's going to be the arena into the spear stun. Do they have enough damage to do this quickly? Okay, they do. It's all going to be good. Tower aggro's being juggled a little bit, so they'll be just fine.
Yeah, beautifully played. Illich walks up, kills all the spiders with his rebuke, so the chains get cleared, but also the remnant out of his own sleight of fist. Just clean stuff. Really nice. And unfortunately, even though it was scouted out, just didn't expect them to necessarily come bottom, I suppose, as well as him having a good few spiders scouting out already, so he thought he was safe.
Yeah. That is always the downside. You see the start of the smoke, but you don't get to see where and when it's coming as Smiling Knight. Oh boy. Big hit onto him if they can finish the job. They certainly can, and now Excel. Okay. TP'd in, thought he would be in danger there for a moment, but Alliance.LATAM very wisely don't want to dive a tier 2 tower at 11 minutes. In their best interest not to, especially considering they got the kill that they wanted. Diving for a CM kill after the fact wouldn't really be worth the risk. This, though, is where that risk kind of comes back in. Multiple heroes making their way up. Illich, though, did not have the arena and did not have the mana for really any play, but you look at the way that they're just kind of marching their way forward, ET. They do still want to fight. They do land onto Kataro, though, which is not the best of options. He's just able to infest a teammate. That teammate, though, immediately going to get hit up by the Frostbite. He does go down. Kataro now has to fight. Analog, do you want to go in? You don't have a choice. Trapped up inside of the arena. But Illich does not have the spear. He already used it. So the arena's a little bit awkward, but they still catch Analog. Pigpole did not quite give him the move speed to get away, so somehow, despite the general awkwardness of that entire initiation, ET, it's Thunder Awaken walking away with 2 kills.
Yeah, it just seems to be a situation in which Alliance.LATAM just overextend. El Misho doesn't get his easy kill with Mystic Flare. It just ends up being too hard for them to actually fight. And you don't have roll for so much of that engagement because you just used it to get a kill going, and then you just aren't happy enough with the disengage. You certainly throw a play into Thunder Awaken's back pocket, even though, despite the deaths, doesn't change the gold lead at all. In fact, still loses out on the gold lead just because Vitali's still farming bottom, but is definitely XP that gets these cores that were falling behind a little bit kind of back in the game. As Kataro, nicely done. TP's back towards mid, gets him right back into farming, and Vitali is rotated towards mid.
Oh, and they spotted Smiling Knight with the hook shot off the mark there from Gardic. He had the vision from the flare. I think he just anticipated that Smiling Knight was going to take a step backwards, and he didn't, but Alliance.LATAM are still able to find a kill. Excel kind of wanders into the line of fire there, so they pick off the CMET. They do get the tower. The tower itself is really just a trade-off because they did lose their own tier 1 top, but the lead increases still. 4K now in their favor, and as you said, Vitali really not slowing down much. Mech already picked up. Greaves on the way in just a few more moments, but Illich, ooh. Well, he arenas some Spiderlings, but that is all they're going to get here unless they want to keep pushing for it. Gardic did get caught by the spear, but the mech is going to heal him up. He pops the cog, creating that separation, and Thunder Awaken decide this really doesn't favor us as much as we want it to.
No, really kind of odd stuff, and they're still on the high ground. They didn't go, and Thunder Awaken did not appreciate that fact, and yeah, the reinitiation.
Hook shot into Mystic Flare, able to take down the second support. And Gardic still does not die there. Again, I mean, that is twice now where he's just thrown himself face first at the enemy and really not been punished for it. Do they catch Burning God here? I don't think so. Yeah, he had that Remnant all the way back by the tier 2, so he is able to fall back. But Alliance.LATAM pick up a couple of support kills, and as you said, they don't panic. They hold the high ground. They've got the vision and the position. It works out for them.
Yeah, and they spread across the map, sure. Knight's farming. Knight has a Battle Fury. Great timings, but it's still feeling a little bit rough. And with the mech being completed, any play that Illich is going to look for coming in this game, if Vitali can read that play, just show up with the mech, we already know Mars is a fairly low damage hero once we get out of that early game. So the problems are kind of starting to begin here. It's where you need to really find your easy to pick targets. You need to connect on the Pango and the Skyreth Mage. You really don't want to start on anyone else on Alliance. And look at this. Smoke up. Looking to spread out, gain some control. They do see Excel, and it looks like they might just take him.
Yeah, not a crazy high value on that kill, but it's basically free. So, they will take it, and now Burning God, well, that's a little bit awkward. The hookshot does not hit, but the silence does. His Remnant is not that far away, though, so they might just be able to track it. He cut down the trees as he went. And he's in trouble. There's your Mystic Flare. Glitches out there on the visual bug, but the damage is certainly in place, and well, your Ember gets picked off in a very unfortunate position.
Yep. Just didn't have a Remnant, wasn't able to move out, and the Ancient Seal is so obnoxious, so annoying. Meanwhile, Alliance.LATAM, they're just looking for Roche, and, well, even though the spiders are going to get maybe chunked a little bit by the slam, Deso completed, you got the anti-armor. This is a nice little kind of nifty timing. It's still not fun. Yeah, Analog might need to come in here, proc some lucky shots for the boys, but this is going to happen. And no scan, no read here from Thunder Awaken. Not that they'd want to go into it necessarily. They just lost their Ember Spirit, and it's not like Knight is going to want to fight before BKB, but still, 16-minute Roche. That's pretty great stuff.
Mm-hmm. They put it in the hands of the Life Stealer, so Kataro has got 2 lives to work with, and I mean, looking at the build, right, went for the Armlet, went for the Deso, he does want to fight, he wants to be involved, so Aegis should allow him to do that. In the meantime, El Misho able to find himself another pick onto Excel. Level 1 Mystic Flare may not be enough damage to kill the cores on Thunder Awaken, but the Crystal Maiden's always going to be a viable target. Speaking of potential targets, though, Burning God might want to be careful here. Flare comes in. There's a hook, but Gardic, yeah, he's got to navigate past that creep wave, and The timing doesn't work out for him. But even without the initiation there, ET, this is going to be a lot of damage onto the tier 2, if not just a straight-up tower kill.
Yeah, and look at the micro. Vitali fans out the spiders. They get complete vision around this tier 2. And they're just abusing this Deso timing. Feels great. Meanwhile, in mid, Michael trying to push out the creep wave, gets taken out just a little bit too quick on the draw there. And the tier 2 goes down with Kataro alone. He's just happy. He's just getting what he wants. He's going to get the shard pretty soon. It's something you're going to hate to play against, especially the troll. You can actually go into that man fight. You end up doing so much more damage. And really, Alliance are just pushing this timing. They are continuing to just get real estate right now.
Putting their stamp on the map at the moment. Okay. Paused briefly, but it would appear this should not be a long one. Not sure what it was for, but Thunder Awaken say that they're good to go. Alliance.LATAM ready as well. We get back underway, and we'll see if Kataro can make it to tier 2 towers taken. He is getting through this relatively quickly. There's an illusion from Analog that's helping out, absorbing some shots. And most importantly, no one from Thunder Awaken themselves is coming even remotely close to this tower. Michael's going to do his best with an Illuminate. Yeah, that does take out the creep, but I think Kataro's going to be able to... No, he's not. Never mind. Gets a little bit too low on the health there. Didn't want to try for the armlet toggles. But more importantly... well, they might want to make a response to that aggression. Gardet gets caught out in the jungle. Analog is rolling. Can he actually catch up, though? Smiling Knight is just kind of booking it out of here. And the question is, where is he actually going? He's going to try to juke them out in the tree line. And that means you run right into Kataro. Unfortunately, he had no way of knowing that, but he makes the wrong choice in the end.
Yeah, just kite it back around, expecting that Analog would blink over, which he did, but didn't expect the two heroes in the wake as Excel. On the other side, trying to get the D word going, gets the word, loses his life.
Well, at least he got something there. Vitali is the one to find the pickoff, though. 3-1-5 now on the Brood, and take a look at what he is building up. He is looking for the Spinner Snare Ags upgrades, so these team fights were already going to be uncomfortable, right? You have the potential open wounds play onto you. You've got a Clockwork just wreaking havoc. You've got a Rolling Thunder, for God's sake. Now you got to watch where you're standing, because the Spinner Snare can cause them some problems.
No, definitely can, as now it's just a matter of how fast Alliance.LATAM can close up the map. They're getting onto the last tier 2. They're just moving across. They've still been just incredibly efficient with this Aegis. And Thunder Awaken haven't gotten really creative with their ways to defend. We haven't seen a lot of creep cutting. We haven't seen them really get back out. It's not like they're done farming. Knight still found a way to get into the triangle, even though he's been flared pretty consistently, but they're just never able to play in the lane that Alliance are actively pushing. Nobody's getting behind the Lifestealer. Nobody's getting to that bottom right side of the map right now for their final tier 2. And they're just conceding over and over and over again. Now, the cores are still in a good spot. There are 1-2 deaths spread across each of them. Illich has a BKB now on the Mars as well. He's deathless. The Mars is still kind of raring to go. But they're going to wait for that big BKB timing. A BKB timing that even Burning God is going to throw away his Maelstrom just to make sure they have that BKB, that almost guaranteed team fight win that they should have. And if they lose that fight, well, then Alliance should just win pretty much straight out at that point. If Thunder Awaken cannot win with 3 BKBs, then it might be it.
Yeah. Pretty big risk, but the alternative is falling even further behind when you really can't afford to. So we'll see how it plays out. Although Burning God, you can't afford to die here. He did manage to buy some components, but that is a rough one, and we see the power of El Misho on that Skywrath Mage. Really kind of hyped it up when we saw it in the draft, but it's coming to fruition now, as meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, Excel's going to get taken down. Illich, well, he does go in here. They're trying to get onto that Lifestealer. Can they finish him off in time? Yes, they can. Kataro will go down, but now they still have to deal with the rest of the lineup. Smiling Knight trying to get away. Silenced up, slowed to hell, finished off by Analog, and, well, Excel, I can definitely admire the effort, but that was not going to get them any kills. It does at least allow the remainder of the lineup to fall back, ET, but it just feels like they don't quite get what they wanted there. Sure, you kill the lifestealer, but your own carry ends up going down.
Yeah. And it is a great attempt. They make that play knowing that there's no Aegis, and without Knight going into that fight, without BKB, knowing that he just has the battle trance and then get on top of the Lifesteal without rage, well, you kind of have to do that. But Illich gets to carry the fight, gets all of the gold pretty much in that situation, and gets to walk away. So really, he's still in a good spot. And with the lifesteal going down, it ceases any push. If Kataru is the lone survivor, he can still get damage onto a tier 3. If anybody else can't survives, especially Vitaly, it's really only Chip. So they still extend the game out, even though Vitaly, speaking of, just finished off the Ags. So Brood gets even more obnoxious, even though it isn't that halberd that might be the tool they need to deal with the troll, and it's no pipe, so still a lot of that magic damage is gonna bleed through.
Yeah, you sacrifice a little bit of durability and utility, but if Alliance.LATAM continue to push the tempo at the rate that they have been, if they keep forcing fights, then the Spinner's Snare really kind of comes into its full effect as... Oh, there's one BKB finished on the Thunder Awaken side. Got it up on Smiling Knight. BKB finished as well for Burning God, so... Well, here's their timing, right? They've got triple BKBs. They've got everybody's ults up. They are contemplating a smoke here. Maybe just waiting for Burning God to clear out the creep wave, but spiders come in, so they do have to deal with that as well. And the fight may be coming their way before they even get the chance to smoke. A lot thrown out at them. The flare, the snare. And now Kataro's just kind of standing in front, daring someone to come after him. But Burning God, yeah, you can't be there. Has to pop his BKB, and now it's go time. But Analog jumps the gun, gets in before with the Rolling Thunder, really causing havoc here as Excel is going to get picked off first. And now how does this play out? Analog, well, is momentarily trapped up inside the arena, but he's able to use the roll-up to get himself out of it. All the while, his teammate's still infested inside of him, so Illich was pushing forward, but didn't realize it was in a 1v2 until it's a little bit too late, but now they have to fight. Kataro, though, well, Kataro's getting really rooted up, bashed as well, but Smiling Knight is getting stunned too. He does go for the ult eventually, but once it wears off, he is dead in the water. Illich, though, can he finish these kills? Yes, he can. Okay. Kataro dead, Analog gone. Burning God back into the fight, finishes the job onto Gardic with the Sleight of Fist, and well, Illich just drags that one back into his team's hands. It was looking pretty rough with the troll getting controlled, but now it's a very, very clear-cut win.
Now, a lot of gold falling into Burning God's back pocket as well. He gets the most money out of that. 1,400 gold. Just buys a full Maelstrom. Kind of saves this game, honestly. But Illich puts the team on his back for that fight. The first initial spear was kind of rough because there was a great reaction from Analog. He curls up. He actually gets out of the arena initially with the lifestealer infested inside of him. But then he gets to see the rage used in its entirety. Knight has to lay out his life yet again to make sure the lifestealer goes down, but the lifestealer goes down, and that's all that matters. That gold lead that Alliance have, cut in half. That was a huge team fight.
Big swing in Thunder Awaken's favor, and that also got Michael enough for his Guardian Greaves, which... It's always a little bit iffy when you shift the Greaves onto one of the supports, because we have seen Alliance.LATAM pretty consistently go after those supports. The pressure's been on Excel, I think, a bit more than Michael in the fights, but will he last long enough to get the full use out of that? Who knows? But the fact that they have the Greaves at all ET does mean that they can match up a little bit better and maybe won't get as surprised by the initial push in from their opponents.
Yeah, even though this is a little sad. The Spinner Snare scouting out the smoke. Just, you hear it, you see it. Something's gone. The Spinner Snare is popped, but this is not feeling like a fight Thunder Awaken want anymore. And Excel might just be dead for them attempting. Gonna get healed up, but yeah. Illich, he went in.
Okay. Cogs are there defensively, but Burning God does not care. Jumps right into the middle of them, and well, the Gardic kill, maybe not super impactful, but taking down Analog certainly is. And Analog in that instance, I mean, he had Rolling Thunder, he had a regen rune, he would have loved to just back out and reset, but One thing he does not have in this ability T is a BKB, so he can't freely reset.
Yeah, he just used the curl up and then wasn't able to find a swash out or a blank out. Just got kind of knocked around, and then really, Burning God had a great reaction there. Just not messing around, making sure he had the follow up disabled with the searing chains, popping his BKB early. Weird. Very odd stuff, considering how much vision LATAM have in this area. I kind of saw everything, and they just lost two heroes really kind of in the blink of an eye. And now Roche respawns, a fact that Alliance are very aware of, but this time around, I feel like Thunder Awaken are definitely going to contest you for it.
And they're trying to sort of clean up some vision first, but in the area, Cell, yeah, he can't defend those wards, unfortunately, but able to take out some Spiderlings. Don't know how much that's going to move the needle, but if you're Excel, I mean, you are straight broke, right? You take a look at his inventory. He's got Trank boots and a fluffy hat. So any gold into his pocket will get him something. I feel like at this point, honestly, just a Force Staff to try and deal with Gardic may be the call for him, but progress is being made, even if it's the slowest progress we've ever seen.
And, well, the reset. Thunder Awaken retreats to their side. 2 smokes on Excel, so if they want to try things again, they can go for it, but they have to go for a long wrap. This is where, unfortunately, not having that mid-tier 1 makes this smoke really difficult for them to ever make. It's where El Misho, already in position to break said smoke, and there's the pop. They want to dive onto him, but, there you go. Gets a BKB for his troubles and probably his life.
He's taken a while to go down there, actually, but now... okay. Arena gets popped. I think Illich was anticipating that there was going to be a full-on initiation there, but Alliance.LATAM decide, you know what, El Misho just pops the smoke, sacrifices himself, and we'll be okay with that. He's only dead for 20 seconds here, so realistically speaking, this isn't even a big enough window for Thunder Awaken to just blitz into the Roche pit, even if they wanted to. And on top of that, there are 3 or 4 spinner snares set up around the area, so it's just a no-fly zone.
Yeah, and I think really the big thing for Thunder Awaken right now is getting Burning God onto that bottom wave, just having that extra creep pressure added onto the map. Because right now, he is just with the team, which is also not a problem, but just feels a little bit slow. Really, nobody's been able to play bottom while this tension around the pit has been there. Because Alliance can't do it quickly. They can't do it quick enough. Maybe once Kitaro has his AC, it'll be slightly easier, but there's no more damage, really, that you're getting from the rest of your lineup. So when it comes to going into that pit, Thunder Awaken are much more adept at making that return play, as Thunder Awaken have also cleaned up this high ground ward. Burning God does not want to pop his BKB. Nice Force Staff from Michael, but such a tense situation. A tense situation in which Alliance have lost all of their gold lead. They have just been so focused here. They've not been farming the map. Thunder Awaken have still made time, but the fight has just been kind of tunnel visioning them right now.
All focus is on this exact section of the map for very good reason, but, well, people don't often speak highly of tunnel vision. Kind of more of a detriment in most cases, and Alliance feeling those effects. But ET, if this tunnel vision gets them Roche, that still could put them in a position to get all of that net worth lead back, but who makes the move? Who decides, okay, let's pull the trigger, let's go for it? They're pushing in now. But once Excel comes over and throws a Nova into the pit, do they back off again, or do they commit for it? Because Roche is... it's low.
Getting low. Yeah.
Third of its HP. Here comes the Illuminate, though. Yeah. They're thinking about it. Kitaro, though, not backing out just yet, and if you're Thunder Awaken, do you realize they're still going? Because they've got to make a move, and there's going to be the jump in. Illich goes in. There's the Arena thrown down. They're going to try and take down El Misho first. They do manage to get him, but they need more, and Burning God already lost a lot of his HP here. BKB activated. He is trying to run out of the fight. Knight, though, is trying to track down Kitaro. Can he get to him? No, he can't. Infest into Analog will allow them to get away for now, but well, that tower's not providing a whole lot of backup. Analog has to try and get away. Gardic's going to TP in, goes for the hook, but that still doesn't save his teammate. Analog gets taken down. Kitaro now stuck in the fight, completely surrounded by enemies, and this 1v1 against Knight he's trying for isn't a real 1v1. Smiling Knight had all the backup, all the attack speed. He wins the fight. Triple kill for the Troll Warlord, and now Roche will go their way for free.
Yeah, that's worst case scenario. So much gold gets thrown into Knight's pocket. Now he gets an Aegis. Now he gets a shard. He just gets so much more net worth. They get the tier 1 mid. I mean, it's an 8k gold for Thunder Awaken now. They just kind of threw away their opportunity. And I think El Misho getting caught on the low ground like that is the first of many mistakes they made in that team fight. They don't get a Rolling Thunder off. The Broodmother dies a little bit too quickly. The hookshot comes in way later just because of how aggressive Thunder Awaken were. He didn't want a hookshot necessarily on the BKBs, and Kataro tried for the fight. He popped his BKB to walk out of the pit. He got to save his rage, but I feel like he almost wishes the inverse happened because he basically just used his BKB, walked away from his opponents, sat inside his Pango, and then another team fight just never began. They never got that second bout started. And now you are in over your heads. You're in a game with losing matchups that you wanted to be over with. You did not want them to get that next Aegis, because now Alliance.LATAM lose all their initiative on the high ground. What are they going to do? Push for tier 3 now that they're behind and playing versus an Aegis troll? No, that's not how that works. A troll as well that almost has a satanic. So really, the game is only beginning for Thunder Awaken.
And obviously, we have the benefit of hindsight to look at this scenario, but now you look at Vitaly's build. The Halberd just came out, but Ag's then Halberd maybe wasn't the right decision in terms of the order of operations here, because, I mean, a Disarm versus Smiling Knight at any point in that fight, ET, would have been massive. But
yeah, now Thunder Awaken, it's their turn. Starting to get on these outer towers, starting to push in these lanes. Alliance are the ones that have to cut the waves, that have to do these interesting plays to start to buy a little bit of time. Even Gardic, you know, starting to farm a little bit, getting some more space to himself, but anything they can do to stall up or get backdoor to kick in. They probably glyph here for this mid tier 2, but with the tier 1 or the tier 2 top claimed already, you also know it's not going to refresh their glyph, so kind of a tough choice to make, even though they are doing a pretty fine job clearing out these creeps, many creeps as they can, but there's the Satanic, and Thunder Awaken just have so much natural healing in their lineup now, as well as full Hex picked up on Illich. So he is ready to catch you. He's ready to find you early, give you just that simple blink disable, something that you're not going to be able to finagle with. You can react to Spear, but blink Hex, nope, can't do that.
Spell in a lot of trouble here for Alliance.LATAM. In the meantime, that's an Aghanim Scepter picked up on Burning God, so he's got both the Shard and the Scepter, which makes him incredibly dangerous. And speaking of dangerous, Vitaly just getting himself caught out there. Arena does get committed, but they find the kill, and now, well, Burning God is into the base, trying to track the kill onto El Misho.
I don't consider myself the best
He
player.
does have the Ghost Scepter, but Ghost Scepter doesn't really help against Flame Guard, so El Misho does get taken down. 2 dead on the Alliance.LATAM side. The creep waves, though, still not cooperating with Thunder Awaken here. That sort of split push, creep cutting game is now bearing fruit, and despite the fact that, you know, Thunder Awaken are operating on their opponent's side of the map, all the creep waves are pushed against them.
And really, I think in that situation, lucky that Thunder Awaken don't feel confident enough to go for that tier 3, because as soon as they get glyph, well, they're just going to try and blitzkrieg out those objectives as mid. Well, Gardic gets caught. This is like his 3rd wave, and he's going to make him work for it, and he's actually running, and he's out. Nicely played from Gardic. Yeah. Just didn't connect with the spear from Illich. Just took a little bit too much time. I think it was even on cooldown when he TP'd in, but thought the Hex would be enough, but definitely making them work a little bit harder here for some of these objectives, but it is still Alliance on a full dodge mentality. They are getting stronger. Analog just finished off his Aghanim Scepter. Vitaly's got that Halberd, so the kiting tools are starting to be there. There's just so much raw HP to get through is really the bigger problem right now, as well as Knight just being the blocker. If Alliance want to go for a smoke, they have to go over the troll and looking for Excel, but they don't get him, and then look mid.
Kataro's dropped low, doesn't even get the time to pop his BKB or his Infest. And he doesn't have buyback. He's dead for 70. Meanwhile, Vitaly gets speared to the only tree in a half-mile radius. But he is able to walk away. Gardic, though, is getting into a little bit of trouble himself. Gardic does end up going down. Analog, though, is rolling his way in. They do find the kill onto Burning God. They would want a little bit more, but with the Rolling Thunder starting to end, yeah, they can't really afford to chase any further. But taking down the Ember does kind of take a lot of the wind out of Thunder Awaken's sails. You see them falling back. The Aegis times out, so it's a bit of a costly defense there from Alliance.LATAM, but they're still alive, and their high ground didn't really take any damage.
Yeah, they get to push him off. Still, you lose Kitaro early on in that play. It's why he didn't have BKB to be able to defend himself, but Burning God kind of pulls the Eternal Envy there. Goes a little bit too far forward, gets punished, but, you know, it could be worse. With tier 4s up, if he gets a Flicker, if he gets a Stormcrafter, his Ember game gets so much easier, and unfortunately for El Misho, gets much harder for the Scarith Mage if he has that easy Dispel, but we'll have to see. Those are definitely the annoying tier 4s that definitely affect the game a little bit more than I think most of these supports like.
Well, Alliance.LATAM have everybody back up and running now, so they
There
are...
you go.
Yep, that's... of course. Although, well, Village is going to hold it. But now, how do they want to deal with the fact that Alliance.LATAM are trying to push their way forward? Vitali maybe pushed a little bit too far, and the solution immediately presents itself. If Vitali's going to overextend, we just kill him. They're not doing it quickly, but they do eventually get the job done. Vitali will fall. El Misho's TP is going to complete, so he makes it back there, and 1 or 2 seconds too far ahead of his teammates there from the Broodmother, and obviously with no BKB, you're not really going to be able to survive that.
Yeah, and that was not Troll ulti. That was just Rampage, so he is just going in with the DD still. This tier 3 is going to get knocked down. Glyph refresh, but the waves are in. They have creeps in both mid and top, so it's not like any creep cutting is going to do you any good. This is an all-hands-on-deck situation. This is getting real bad real quick, but there's also no Vitali for 20 seconds. But when it comes to defending these racks, I'm not sure if they're going to save Glyph for this top one, but they're not going to be their full lineup even after. That is Ags, though, on Gardic. He TP's back into the fountain with that power kind of in his back pocket, but Thunder Awaken say, let's give it up. Aegis just reclaimed, slots an MKB over it, but gotta be careful now.
They're able to do some good damage, right? They find the kill, they get the glyph, they get the entirety of the middle lane of racks, but as you say, still got to be careful. Still room for some serious error if they got too greedy, so they'll back it up. Excel, meanwhile, just got a Lotus Orb brought out to him, so gonna be a little bit tougher for Alliance to find their targets. Realistically speaking, there's not a crazy amount of single targets, so Excel's not going to be looking to reflect too much, but the Dispel, Dispel's going to be useful. Gardic, though, that is very unfortunate. Tries to make a move, misses with the hook shot. They're still trying, though, and, well, I think Analog's quickly realizing this is not going to go the way that we want to. Did have the Lifestealer infested inside of him, but still not a great idea. Without that hook shot to really disrupt Thunder Awaken's formation, it wasn't a great idea to keep going.
Yeah, and now no Glyph. This is kind of do or die at this point, but no Rolling Thunder for 40 seconds. You used it before to dissuade your opponents that were ready to already make their exit. So this is just kind of feeling bad. And it looks like they will give the utmost respect to Alliance. They're just going to reset, play near their outpost, place maybe some wards on their way back to Roche. Well, I could also see Thunder Awaken just sit, wait. Why not wait for the next Roche? It could be respawn right now. Will not be respawn for another minute 30, but they're just going to play this top side, really, because why not? Have Ember push in bottom. That's the only lane they still have to get a little bit more building damage in. Still need to get that tier 2, but otherwise, they can really play this map any way they want. They really are just feeling super safe right now in their position. They've kind of gotten that ideal situation perfectly.
Yeah, and we've seen 2 or 3 times in a row now, Alliance.LATAM are hesitant to go in, and to a certain extent, you can't blame them for that. They recognize just how many things need to go their way before they can actually make that move, but the problem is that they're trying to get that setup, and it's just not coming together in the way that they need, and the longer they wait, the larger this deficit is going to be, the more damage to their base is being dealt, and now Burning God is going to make his way down bot to deal with that final lane pushing in. Taro, He's here, but I'm not sure he wants to be anymore. Okay. Burning God leaves, so Katara says, I'll just keep on pushing. What exactly is he working towards here? Basher into Abyssal Blade. Certainly not a bad choice, I suppose, but Abyssal Blade isn't going to do you much good unless you actually finally find that initiation that goes perfectly for you.
Yeah, the bigger issue, I think, is there's just no way for him to really successfully right-click anybody anymore. The troll is just finding him, staying on top of him. Roche just respawned as well, but let's see some smoke-on-smoke action. They're going to allow Alliance to scout out the Roche from behind. Alliance are probably going to try to claim at least one high ground here, but this is a very tense position to be in. A position that's going to be very apparent that Alliance are not in the base pretty soon here. The super creeps are heading into the base, and they say, well, you guys got to make a choice pretty soon here. The creeps are in. We're going to hit Roche.
It is interesting to see that this time Kataro did infest the clockwork, so that is an interesting move, but it puts even more pressure on the hookshot to connect at this stage, but the clock's already getting hit up. He is going to go for the hook. There's going to be the infest bomb. Burning God is dropping low, but they need to be able to finish him off. Do they have the lockdown? No, they do not. Analog, though, does manage to get in there with a swashbuckle, so Burning God will die, but his teammates did finish off Roshan. Aegis is into Knight's hands, and, well, I don't really know if that helps them enough. Sure, Burning God is now dead. He will not be able to contribute to a further push, but now you need to take advantage of that. You only lost Gardic, so you may not have a numbers advantage, but they do seem to have more power, but are they willing to fight into 2 lives on the troll?
That is the question, as well as a refresher in his back pocket. So, worst case scenario, he does just pop his ultimate, gets his BKB, gets his Satanic back. You know, it's very problematic. And the one here that did go down, really just because Burning God popped his BKB a little bit too late, wasn't able to mitigate very much of the magic damage from that roll, even though it's mostly physical from the swashes. It doesn't matter. Rest of the lineup is okay. They're pushing down. He's got a Basher now on Knight, just sells his phase boots. He's got a full Abyssal Blade, I think, once it actually completes. And Gardic is going.
Okay. Very aggressive choice. Analog, though, is going to roll his way in. Where's the damage, though? Kataro coming in on the back line. They are doing a lot of damage with the swashbuckle on the shield crash. They take down 2. Michael now isolated in the corner. The Knight says, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be here, but he doesn't have a choice. Doesn't want to pop his BKB on the first life. He will do exactly that, though. BKB and ult being popped. Can they kite him? A lot of damage is being done, but there's going to be some bashes, and Knight goes down once. Can they save him? Burning God trying to TP in onto the creep wave. He will arrive, but will his presence be enough to save his buddy? No, not quite yet. Knight, though, does pop the cheese. Still surviving through this somehow, but he's starting to run out of gas. Doesn't have another ult. Doesn't have that refresher because they actually gave it to Illich. And ET, Alliance.LATAM may have damn well just saved their game here. They're still in a rough spot, but that is a massive teamfight win.
Yeah, and all comes from not just the Rolling Thunder, but Gardic finding the Mars, who is maybe 15 seconds away from his BKB. Just Thunder Awaken rush things a little bit. They fumble. They go too early. The Mars gets nothing off. Not only does he not get to the secret shop to buy his full refresher, he gets past the refresher shard and doesn't want to pop BKB because he can't pop BKB, but doesn't want to pop the shard for only his BKB to be back up 10 seconds faster. So just an awkward situation. And yeah, the play has got a remnant though. Didn't get enough bashes, but look right into the hands of Analog. Oh boy. Oh no.
It's getting a little bit concerning here. That was a nifty play, I will say, with the Stormcrafter. Bought himself enough time to jump away, but right into the waiting arms of the Pango. And I mean, one last sort of bit about that fight, the previous one. Analog is an absolute monster right now. You saw the Rolling Thunder was big, but the Ags upgrade, right? Shield Crash with Swashbuckle, he was just melting through supports. He has really become the primary damage dealer. Kataro's nice, but he's supplemental at this point compared to the Pango.
Yeah, he just does way too much damage in his fight. He has an Abyssal Blade finished up as well, so those disables that Alliance.LATAM were kind of lacking are getting finished up, as well as Vitali also looking at a Hex. Oh, Thunder Awaken, you've made this game so much harder for yourselves now, and the confidence is just not there. They're going to have to wait for their Ember Spirit to respawn, and then maybe they get something back, some kind of drive to go out of the base yet again. But Illich has just got to hit. He's got to find something. He's been doing such a great job so far in this game. But this next arena, it just has to be probably primarily on the analog. But that's where the Linkage has just been enough for him. He's been able to react. If he can react to the Hex, then he just pops the roll up, and then he dodges out the Spear. Is where suddenly you need an answer for this Pangolier, and it's just not there right now.
I do want to ask you at this point, because they're still kind of running it this way. Illich, should he be passing this Refresher Shard back over to someone like the Troll or the Ember, or do you think him having that double initiation is still the right call?
I think it's still the right call, at least for now. It doesn't want to buy his Refresher just yet, because I don't think he can buy his Refresher plus buyback. So it's holding that same spot. And then look at this. Smoke pops. Gardic on the high ground with the Nakes inside of him, and here we go.
Analog rolls up. There's going to be your hook shot in. Mystic Flare deployed onto Knight. Only takes out about half his HP, though, before the BKB activates, but Analog is still rolling his way through. Being disruptive, trying to dish out what damage they can is Illich. He's getting hit up. Didn't pop the Refresher Shard just yet, and he won't get the chance to. He is going to get taken down. Gardic falls as well. Both heroes, though, buying back as the fight continues. Gardic going to TP over to the outpost, while his teammates clean up Burning God. Lock him down with the Abyssal Blade. They find the kill, and now Thunder Awaken. You don't want to really be here anymore, but Michael can't get away. He walks into the Spinner's Snare. And they're just mass retreating right now. Excel gets taken down. He's going to buy back. Hookshot, though, catches Michael, pushes him back. But now there's going to be a Refresher Shard. Illich wants a second round of fighting. Throws down the arena. Gets the Spear onto 2. Hitting onto both cores. But they need to actually finish the job. But the Hex is going to go down onto the Troll Warlord. He is silenced. He is out of the fight. He is now bashed up. Trying for the ult play. But Kataro holding his ground for now. No, he is not. Kataro gets taken down. Spear stun onto Vitali. Locks him down as well. Analog getting caught, trying to swashbuckle away, but the blink from Illich gets him into position. And Alliance, for so long, looked like they were going to be able to hold that ET, but a trio of buybacks from Thunder Awaken do save the fight, and Gardic's going to get cleaned up at the end here as well.
Oh boy, and it is, if Thunder Awaken want to push for it, a 1v4. There are no buybacks on Alliance.LATAM at all. Of course, already used the buyback on the Clockwork in the actual team fight, but everybody else is strapped. This is what very likely could just be it. This might be it. I mean, there's nothing left. If they knew, they would barrel down for those tier 4s right now, but it looks like Alliance maybe have one more team fight in them. I don't know if they can hold for Megas, though. I feel like that objective looks like it's coming a little bit too quickly.
That's kind of an interesting thing. Illich passed by the secret shop and did buy his Refresher, but since he already used the shard, his fresh Refresher Orb is still on cooldown. So, probably won't be relevant at this point because Alliance.LATAM still are only working with 2 heroes, but who knows? Maybe it could factor in. Vitali's coming back up, and Thunder Awaken kind of hesitant to go straight in for the tier 4s. And they just didn't have all the information that they needed, ET, so they decided to play it safe. And I will say having Megas is still a massive advantage for them, but if only they knew, they might have just been able to end the game there.
Yeah, definitely. Now they'll wait for Roche. Now they'll wait for also their heroes to farm up buyback. Something that they do need. Of course, Illich had committed his in the previous fight, so he's kind of going to have to wait. Their next best moment is coming up pretty soon to end this game, but making sure the Ember and the Troll have their buys, make sure the supports have theirs, you know, just all of the safety. And we'll see what Roche looks like in just a second. And a relatively fast Roche, which will allow Thunder Awaken to maybe press the advantage of their buybacks over Alliance, but also gives Alliance time to farm up their buys, so no nightmare situation where Qatar's not going to have his buyout. The Lifestar will have 2 lives in this next fight. Really, they would love to just kill Analog. They get the Pango. That's kind of your GG. That team fight might be too difficult without him. But they smoke up with Megas coming into the base. So how fast can they hit here? Knight Showing, not breaking though, and they're gonna guess above. They see Illich and they don't want him. Oh, this is so unfortunate. And now with the Megas coming in, they have to retreat.
If they could have spotted out Knight, that would have been a perfect target, but they just look in the wrong direction, and yeah, somebody's got to deal with this. Analog for now is the only one back. But they're not giving up on this. Trying to set up some vision at least. They do control that high ground, but it's going to be a tough one no matter what sort of route they take into the fight. They've lost control of their outpost as well, which, considering buybacks are still not in a great spot, is probably not super relevant right now. But, oh, Gardic, able to hook in. They're going to try for a quick kill onto Excel. They do manage to get it. And Gardic is a very tanky boy. He is absorbing a lot of the focus here. So on the back line, Burning God may have gone in, but now he has no backup. He's going to get hexed up. Can they finish him off in time? Not quite yet. Stormcrafter allows him to get away, and now here comes Knight Illich into the fight. They're going to drop down the arena. The Spear Stun does not hit onto Kataro. He was able to get himself out of it with the Rage, but now Analog can't get in. The arena is blocking him. He's able to jump over the wall, and now they can go to work. Mystic Flare being deployed. Troll Warlord dropping low, taken down. Illich in the fight by himself. And Alliance win a fight that ET, I'm not sure they had any business trying to take, but they get it.
Yeah, they're going to lose a tier 4. They're going to need to kite these creeps back into the base, but they steal the Roche. They get what they want. Just a fight, again, kind of carried there by Analog. Just gets what he needs, is able to fight around all of these heroes for such a long period of time. Multiple hexes come through from Katali. Some very key bashes from Katara as well that just make it take too long. And now they robbed you of that free objective. And Thunder Awaken, they're lucky. There's no divine. There's no easy way. They're lucky a lifesteal's on the other side of the aisle here. Because if there was a better hero, they could just push for the victory. Knight's the only one who's really chilling here with the buyback. It's a dieback on 3 heroes here for Thunder Awaken. If only Alliance had a better hero and a stronger push, they really could push for that. But they've robbed you of the objective. They've robbed you of Aegis. They've delayed their timing. It almost feels like now maybe we're just headed for 60 minutes. Because Alliance certainly can't push across the river just yet. But Thunder Awaken are not going to want to throw themselves at LATAM's Ancient. It's just way too big of a risk at this point.
Yeah, I do want to point out for Kataro, picked himself up in Ags just because everyone else other than, I think the Skywrath Mage had theirs, and Skywrath's ult is neat, but having Infest on a 20-second cooldown, that is going to be pretty big.
Yeah, plus you can sit in the troll. He tries to hit you, you sit inside of him. Why not, you know? It's annoying. It really is.
Just heal up, disarm the Troll Warlord, chill, see how the fight plays out. I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little creepy, for sure, but, you know, a useful tool for Alliance, who have legitimately wiped out this deficit. You take a look at the net worth, it's around still 1k-ish for Thunder Awaken, but they were down by, what, 20k plus previously, so still alive. Still one team fight loss away from this game just being over, though, with the exposed Ancient, but the fact that they're in this game at all, ET, is pretty amazing, because it really was looking like they were just about knocked out.
Yeah, and you gotta be careful. Divine Rapier picked up on the Lifestealer. A risky purchase, but they can look for that reverse sweep as Gardic back into the fight.
Directly onto the Crystal Maiden. Excel does not go down all that quickly, though. Doesn't actually go down at all, but Thunder Awaken, they've got to try to regroup here. They're getting onto their own high ground. Analog is rolling his way through, but Knight actually makes the play. They're going to try and go in onto Kataro, but, well, now he realizes there's a Rapier in that Lifestealer's hands. We have to kill him off right now. Burning God moving in to try and help. Kataro, though, not going down just yet. Has the Infest, has the Lifesteal, and he's actually just holding his ground here. They need to really rally around him, but they're not doing so. Analog tried to get in there, but it's too late, so he does get taken down, and this fight's not looking very good. Vitali is going to get picked off, hexed down onto the Lifestealer. They're going to get through his first life. But who's left to actually save him on the second? Everyone's been taken down outside of Gardic. And as much as Gardic's going to try to help, there's nothing he can really do. Kataro is going to fall here. And that's it. GG called.
Yeah. Ancient was dead to the Mega Creeps anyway, but yeah. Alliance.LATAM, they kind of just gambled everything there on a fight outside of the base. A fight that they lost their vision advantage. Thunder Awaken placed the ward, they fight for it. You only have the flares at that point. It's nighttime, you can't see very much. and they run out of gas. They only get one Rolling Thunder off in that fight. Analog isn't able to reset himself fast enough, and Kataro is still just Lycior versus Troll. So with an Aegis, with a Rapier, with an Ags, with all these tools, it's just that bad of a matchup. It's what Thunder Awaken we're always going to bank on at the end of the game, at the end of this draft. Even though Alliance in turn back the time, that first Aegis where they're snowballing all these tier 2s, all these objectives, they're looking great. They were never going to be able to solve this matchup. It was just too difficult.
I am kind of surprised though in that last fight. You pick up the rapier on Kataro, but then everyone just kind of drifts away from him. They don't really group up on their lifestealer, and there were obviously other problems in the fight. I'm not going to say that's what cost them, but it certainly didn't help. But Thunder Awaken showing some grit, some tenacity, some discipline, whatever you want to call it, but that certainly was a long one to start the day. They do manage to get the win, and Burning God, showing out a little bit here. He did not take the game over, ET, by any means, but 13, 8, and 24 in a win is certainly a very impressive move for a guy who comes in here as a stand-in.
Yeah, definitely struggled versus Analog, but hey, he's Analog. He's the kind of guy's feet in the ground in SA. You know what you're gonna get from him, but definitely a pleasant surprise and still fulfilled his role. Was constantly getting on Almisho at the beginning of the fights. Gardic was off doing his own thing. Gardic really kind of MVP for Alliance, even though they went down here. He was kind of just pushing Thunder Awaken around. He was super obnoxious on the clockwork, super disruptive. But that's where the Ember still finds the Skyreth Mage and then kills your damage. A lot of those fights, Almisha dies early. We don't see any Mystic Flares. We don't see any combo with the hook shot. Then when we lose him, well, we lose any potential burst or pick potential from Alliance. And then Thunder Awaken get to survive that much longer. It's where the supports as well. They were just ready. They had the Force Staffs. They knew what they had to play against. I think the most interesting purchase probably from them is that Michael decided to get a Crimson Guard
Yeah.
like somewhere in that game, which is like, okay, sure. It kind of seemed like he was freaked out and thought that maybe they're going to lose if he didn't have the Crimson Guard to protect the buildings. But, who cares? And at the end of the day, really, they win. They be really just because Knights 24 pick troll. They just 24 pick trolled you. Coming to this next series, this next game for Alliance.LATAM with the ability to maybe choose your opponents and then hope that you don't get kind of gypped out of that winning matchup. Because really, that's all Thunder Awaken played for. That's what they drafted for, and that's what they won with.
And for Alliance.LATAM, they certainly put up a fight, ET. You can't deny them that. They did go down swinging. But at this stage, this late in the group stage, good fights, solid play, but you don't get the win. That stops really mattering anymore. Alliance need cold, hard wins at this point to keep that push going for a playoff spot. So you can hope that maybe this is inspiring for them, gives them some confidence, but in game 2, they straight up have to win.
Yeah, they got to go. If they don't, then they're out. They join Wildcard as our first few teams eliminated, and it's not where Alliance.LATAM want to be. They've had a rough year. They've had a rough season. They don't want to go out in BTS Pro Series just yet.
Well, we shall see what Game 2 has in store, whether Alliance can make some adjustments or if Thunder Awaken are on their way to a 2-0 sweep. So we will be back with the start of the Game 2 draft in just a couple of minutes.